So class, this is going to be a demo on acrylics on top of gesso on top of a wood panel. I'm using this Liquitex acrylics, and as you can see, I've already coated the wood panel with gesso, and I have a line drawing going on right now, and it's going to be, ultimately it's going to be an airplane or a jetliner flying in the nighttime in space or in the sky. And I have my palette all set up, and then I've already squeezed out my paints. And my goal is, my immediate goal is, I want to put a layer of paint over this entire thing. Just want to coat it all. So what I'll do is I'll take some of this blue and I have to water it down because I want it to be watercolor consistency. And that seems to be pretty good. Let me do a little test. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and cover this whole thing with the watered down paint. And this is, I guess I would call this a kind of a light value, because you don't want to make this too dark or else you're going to lose your line drawing. Okay, I'm back. So what I want to do is want to add value to the airplane, and I want to have ultimately have about 3 values. Like I want this to go darkest, and then this will be the next darkest, and then this, all this area right here could go white. But anyway, so that's my plan. And oh, as you can see the painted lines all over, so that I didn't lose my line drawing. So I've taken some black and I put it over here and made it watery. I think I should probably add more water. And if you want to, you could always do a test mark to see if you're satisfied with everything. And so since this is going to be the darkest area underneath this the airplane, then I'm going to go ahead and coat that area first. Just going to go ahead and coat this first with a darker value. And the nice thing with acrylics is that you could paint layers on top of each other and nothing bad will happen. It won't run or anything. But in this case, I don't really have the time to do that. I can't wait for it to dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of cheat. And I'm going to take this existing mixture and make it even more watery. Because normally I would just dry that and then go ahead and paint another layer on top of it, so then it would have 2 layers. But really don't, that would take too much time. So I'm going to go like this. And paint in the second value. And as you can see, I'm allowing the background to still peek through. This is a normal way of using acrylics. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I painted part of the cloud area, and what I did was I dried it off with a hairdryer, made it go a little bit faster. And as you can see, I'm going to put another layer of paint on top. And now you can see how the layers of paint can work to your advantage. Because I'm allowing the first layer of, to show through. And but once again, this is very typical of acrylic paints to work in layers if you want. If you want. And let's see, where am I? Paint some more down here. Then after I paint around this sphere or this orb, I am going to go ahead and paint in here as well. Try to get a pattern thing going on, because I like patterns myself. I think I brought that up in my previous demo of gouache on top of the wood panel. My use of patterns. It's just a style thing for me. So now I think it would be a good time to lay in some white areas, and I'm thinking that perhaps some white in the airplane, because that is my focal point. So taking some acrylic white, and basically I'm just treating this as like a coloring book. I see my lines that I painted, and just staying inside the lines. Just staying inside the lines. Okay. You know, with acrylic, one of the drawbacks with it is that it's hard to get fine detail work. Gouache is the opposite, because you could really get in there with a small fine brush. But with acrylic, unless you're working larger, it's a little bit harder. So I'm kind of struggling through this thing, trying to get some fine lines. But I think you get the idea of what I'm doing. Once again, just trying to stay within the lines. Oh, how about like up here too? I need something up here. I'm probably blocking this out because my big hands are in the way. Let's see, maybe if I go like this, maybe this will be a bit easier. And something like that. And then on this side, continue it on. And then since this is getting light, then I think I should be pretty consistent, don't you? And put it light on this side of these things. You know, be consistent. Logical. Add another one over here and another one over here. And let's see, what else can I do? Maybe wrap it around a little bit. Maybe help to turn the form a little bit. This is all stylized. You know, it's not accurately rendered, but it's just like stylization. Okay. Then, kind of like looking at it, and I go, maybe I could punch the values a little bit more in the airplane or the jet, because the value under the wings seems to be kind of not enough value. Do a test mark, see if I'm happy with that. Let me test it out in here. Oh, I kind of like that. I'm going to punch that out too while I'm at it. So do that. And you can see, you know, I'm leaving some brush strokes. That's okay, because like later on, if I don't like them, you could easily get rid of it. This is the area that I wanted to darken up a little bit. That's the area, because I want to get a little bit more value difference between that and the sky. And anyway, since basically this is kind of monochromatic-y, I need to be a little bit careful with my values. Lay that in. Okay, I'm back, and I added some more values to the piece. I darkened the sky a little bit, and I put a little bit more cloud activity on the orb. And I think at this point, I'm just going to add a little bit more value in the sky over here, because I don't know, it just seems like it's a little bit, it's getting a little lost. So I add this. Oh, I couldn't resist. I had to add some more values to this, so I darkened the background a little bit more. Oh, and I added these little like streak lines. Okay, that's it.